Thanks again for giving me a ride to work, guys, especially on this lovely day we're having.
You bet.
Hey, Kim, what's going on at the chamber?
Well, we have the annual banquet coming up in a few weeks. I'll be meeting with Tim and Sherry on my board to talk about the theme, which is designing our future.
Kim, what do you think the future holds?
I don't know. There's so many different technologies and trends emerging. I don't know how they're all going to connect.
Yeah, makes you wish you had a time machine.
Hey, you got any Huey Lewis?
Hey, have either of you seen Kim today?
Nope, she didn't show up for our meeting this morning.
Do you know what's going on?
I don't know. All I know is that she told me to meet her right here in this exact spot at this exact time. She was very specific.
That's really strange.
Well, we'll let you know if we see her.
All right, well, keep me posted. Kim?
Rob, you've got to come back with me.
Back where?
Back to the future.
Where did you get a DeLorean?
Toyota of Iowa City. I bought it with Bitcoin, but that's not important right now.
Well, why? What happens in the future? They never finish the Dubuque Street construction, do they?
No, that turns out just fine. It's about the annual banquet. Something has to be done about the annual banquet.
Why? What happens?
We need to let everyone know what the future holds.
Wow, this is heavy.
Here, hold this. First, we need to go get our guest speakers.
Whoa, Kim, this is a DeLorean time machine. Don't we need to find a driver who knows how to run this thing?
Drivers? Where we're going, we don't need drivers. Things my team makes me do. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chamber of Commerce Annual Banquet, Designing Our Future. I'm Kim Casco, President and CEO of the Iowa City Area Chamber of Commerce, or for tonight, Doc Brown. Great Scott. On behalf of the Chamber, staff, and board, thank you for being with us this evening. We have a fun and informative event planned for you tonight. We're going to share what the Chamber has been up to this past year, talk about our plans for the future, and as you saw in the video, we found some experts from the future to talk with you about 3 different emerging technologies: autonomous vehicles, virtual reality, and blockchain. We encourage you to share thoughts and pictures throughout the evening on your social media platform of choice using the hashtag Annual Banquet 2018. But before we dive in, there are some folks I'd like to recognize. First, our elected officials. We are grateful for the work they do to strengthen and protect our communities. Our federal legislators unfortunately couldn't be here this evening as they are still in Washington. However, I think we have with us State Senator Bob Dvorsky. Senator Dvorsky, yes, he deserves a huge round of applause. So I asked Senator Dvorsky, where are you? Please stand. I think you're somewhere over there. I think you crashed the City of Coralville table. So Senator Dvorsky is going to be retiring this year, and we really want to thank him for his nearly 40 years of service to our community. So again, let's give him a special round of applause. Thank you, Senator Dvorsky. We'd also like to thank all of our local elected officials. I believe we have a number of them with us here this evening. Please stand, Coralville City Council, led by Mayor John Lundell. I think you guys are back over there. Iowa City City Chamber Council led by Mayor Jim Throckmorton, please stand. And North Liberty City Council led by Mayor Terry Donahue. Please stand. I think they're somewhere in the center. And then we also have with us Johnson County Supervisors led by Chair Mike Carberry. And Mike's here somewhere too. Thank you all for being here. And I also need to especially thank Mike Carberry and our 3 city administrators, Jeff Fruin, Kelly Hayworth, Ryan Heyer, for participating once again in our carpool karaoke segment. I know it's the favorite part of their job. So this event would not be possible if it weren't for the generous sponsorships we receive. I want to particularly thank our premier sponsor, Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble provides branded products and services of superior quality and value, which serve nearly 5 billion of the more than 7 billion people on the planet today. While their operations in Iowa City are changing, we know that the oral division will continue to be a terrific partner to our business community, and we are encouraged by their strong growth over the past few years. Thank you for generously sponsoring this event, P&G. Thank you also to our reception sponsors, Alpla and Newman Munson, our video sponsor, Hills Bank and Trust Company, and our Buy Here Elite sponsor, Eastern Iowa Airport, and our many, many table sponsors. We greatly appreciate all of your support. I'd now like to welcome to the stage last year's board chair, Sherry Damaris, to share our 2017 accomplishments. Sherry is the Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Hills Bank and Trust Company. She has also been nominated as Best Supporting Actress for her role in our Chamber Annual Banquet video. Welcome, Sherry.
Thanks, Kim. Good evening, everyone. 2017 was a great year for the Chamber. I am honored to introduce this next video that shines a light on some of the Chamber's proudest achievements of the past year.
We wanted to take a moment to say thank you for being part of a very exciting year for the Iowa City Area Chamber of Commerce.
We celebrated over 50 ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, and we welcomed over 70 new members to a chamber that already features over 900 members in Johnson County.
With your support, we passed the largest general obligation bond in the history of the state of Iowa.
We brought local professionals together with our community leadership program, EPIC, business PMs, roundtables, and over 180 events.
You helped us share your story at Corridor Day at the Capitol and at special events all year long.
You took part in a member survey that will help the Chamber to shape its direction and priorities in the years to come.
And you've made the newest members of our team feel welcome as we continue the Chamber's mission.
I think the biggest success for 2017 was just our improved connection with members and our better understanding of what our members really want from the Chamber.
Business PMs are just fantastic, and our businesses love to host those, and it's amazing. You get to go to a different business and check out their space.
There's a lot of networking opportunities, there's educational opportunities, and you get to see people and meet people in different settings.
The networking and the connections are great too, but it's, I also see it as community building.
You think about the community leadership program, the ribbon cuttings, the referral network, all of the activities help bring our community together and the business community together as well.
Maybe the signature success of the last year was the passage of the general obligation bond, and the Chamber was fully invested in that because, there's a close connection between the success of the business community and the success of the schools.
We're raising our own workforce and educating our own workforce for our kids here and for our businesses. And I also think having an excellent educational system and educational facilities is really important for attracting new business as well.
We also did a comprehensive member survey in 2017 and learned a lot about our members, and that's really driving the plan of work for 2018.
There was a lot of great information and feedback received from our members, and I think it was very foundational for setting the plan moving forward.
The member survey that we conducted in 2017 was really instrumental to us and the team in learning more about what our members want, what they value, what they expect from us. It gave us a lot of great guidance, and so from that we were able to identify, okay, where are our gaps? What is most important to our members, and where do we need to improve?
I think the staff's really open-minded nature, that they've taken the survey results and they're also looking towards the future and how the chamber can be most relevant to and serve its communities. I think they're really open to change and to transition the chamber into the future.
Working with Sherry Damaris as my board chair this past year has been great. I've learned so much from her and her style of leadership, and she's been really inspirational.
It's been really fun to work with Kim through her first year. We were sort of both, going through it together, so that was fun. And her passion and energy for what she does is just really impressive.
And working with Tim Crum, as my current board chair, I'm really looking forward to that. Tim is fantastic, both as a lawyer in his profession, and in the community. He's just done so much for this community, and so I'm really excited to have his leadership.
We'd really want members to contact us, let us know, what's important to them. Keep those lines of communication open, and we'll do the best to do that as well.
And I think that's all part of, of designing what we want our future to look like.
As you can see, it was a busy year. I'm amazed at what the chamber team was able to do, despite the fact that 85% of the team hadn't even been with the chamber for a full year. On behalf of the board, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the chamber team. Please stand and wave wherever you are. I'd also like to acknowledge the many chamber volunteers that provide incredible support to the staff. If you are a member of one of these groups, please stand. Ambassadors, Business Council for Legislative Affairs, CLP Programming Committee, EPIC Leadership Council, North Liberty Steering Committee, Sponsorship Campaign volunteers. Thank you all for your help this past year. I'd now like to turn the program back over to Kim.
Those goggles are starting to leave a mark. Well, thank you again, Sherry. I'd like to echo Sherry's acknowledgement of my incredibly talented team and our very dedicated volunteers. I feel extremely lucky to lead an organization made up of some of the best people in this community. I'm a little bit biased. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank Sherry for her leadership as board chair this past year. As she mentioned, our team is pretty green, myself included, and we wouldn't have been where we are now without her unwavering support, her guidance, and her sense of humor. So thank you, Sherry, for your many hours of service to the chamber and this community. Luckily, we also have a pretty skilled and supportive board of directors, too. Can you all please stand, all my board of directors? I know some of you are scattered throughout the room. Thank you so much for your leadership this past year. We also have some past chairs with us this evening. Please stand, those of you who have served as board chairs in the past. You're also spread out. Thank you so much for your service. We unfortunately lost two of our past chairs just this last week, Lester Badaman, longtime area businessman, and Ronald Reed, former president and CEO of Mercy, Iowa City. Both were tremendous leaders in this community and will be greatly missed. I'd now like to welcome to the stage our current board chair, Tim Crum, to give you an overview of our goals for 2018. Tim is a lawyer with Meredith Supel and Downer, PLC, and we are glad to have him as our board chair this year.
don't think I've ever had walk-on music before. It's great. I missed the rehearsal. Thank you, Kim, and good evening, everybody. It is, of course, an honor to serve as the 2018 board chair, and especially so to follow in the footsteps of Sherry Damaris. And on behalf of the board of directors, Sherry and myself certainly too, I want to thank you for your outstanding leadership during 2017 and for the continued support that I know I'm going to need. In addition to maintaining all of the events and programs and services that Sherry just highlighted, the Chamber has identified two big areas of strategic focus for 2018. First, we intend to respond to the input we received from the member survey conducted in 2017. While the results were generally positive, the survey also revealed several areas of opportunity. We've looked most closely at those services that our members say they value the most, but where they feel there is room for improvement in our performance. The staff and the board together have identified specific actions within each of these areas of opportunity. So in 2018, you can expect to see increased collaboration with our regional partners, such as the Cedar Rapids Iowa City Corridor Development Group, to continue to grow this region and develop solutions to address our workforce challenges. Increased personalized outreach and services to our members to provide better information and connections to resources, and also increased proactivity in government affairs and public policy work through the newly created Business Council for Legislative Affairs. The second area of focus for the Chamber this year will be evaluating and exploring the possibilities for aligning our mission, functions, and resources with those of the Iowa City Area Development Group, ICAD. Both organizations seek to support our business community. Both organizations are grappling with how to best serve this community in a quickly changing environment. We intend to be proactive in identifying a model that best serves the current and future needs of our businesses and the community overall. We do not yet know where this model will look like. What we do know is that both the Chamber and ICAD will be spending the next few months meeting with our customers and stakeholders to identify their needs, researching best practice examples, and analyzing the pros and the cons of different alignment scenarios. We're committed to doing our due diligence to determine the right solution for our business community, and we will keep you informed along the way. Whatever the outcome, our goal is to serve you better. So, as you can see, 2018 is going to be a very busy and exciting year for the Chamber. And thanks to you, all of our members, for your continued support. And now, as I welcome Kim back to the stage, I must note that with such an aggressive agenda, none of this will be possible without Kim and her staff support as well. So, Kim, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Yes, Tim as our board chair is in for quite a year. There's one more exciting thing that we're working on for 2018, launching a new type of networking event. The team recently brainstormed some ideas for this. Take a look.
Okay, guys, I think we need to freshen up our networking events. New year, new us. What are your ideas?
What if people brought their pets? We call it pet working.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm not the only cat person here.
Ooh, what if we had karaoke and called it duet working?
And I will always love you, and you, and you, and you.
What if people brought guitars? or ukuleles. All right, welcome to fretworking, everybody. What?
What if we had everybody meet at one of our member gyms and called it sweat working?
Guys, what about jet working?
Oh, this is so much better. What if we had one that involved yoga?
Welcome to Forget Working. Go ahead and clear your mind. Inhale, taking a deep breath in. Exhale, letting go of the stresses of the day.
Wait, I have another one. Networking. What? It's better than fret working.
Okay, I think we've got some good ideas here. But what do you think?
Oh my, our ambassadors are quite the crew. Please give them a round of applause. So we do actually need your help here in identifying which new networking event we're going to try this year. We're going to have you vote in a moment for one of the following: sweat working, forget working, duet working, or fret working. We are not going to do networking for obvious reasons, and pet working and jet working have some safety and liability issues. So here's how this is going to work. We're really going to be testing our technology chops here. So take out your cell phones if you have one, please. And you're going to text one of the 4 following numbers to the 10-digit number that's at the top of the screen. You can only vote for one, and you can't change your vote. Again, the number 1 is for sweat working, number 2 is for forget working, number 3 is for duet working, and number 4 is for fret working. And the phone number again is 936-218-2603. Everyone texting in their vote? Oh my gosh, it's looking pretty close here. Nobody wants to do fret working, huh? Okay, all right, poll is going to close in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I think we have a winner. I think that middle bar there looks really close, but I think it looks like forget working. Is that right? I think forget working is going to be the winner. That's awesome. So stay tuned for a forget working event in 2018. Oh, wait a second. Duet working just pulled ahead, I hear. So it looks like maybe duet working beat out forget working slightly. So that Hills Bank crew, get ready. We're coming for you. All right. Well, thank you everyone for helping us to make that decision. So in addition to this new networking event or two that we may try this year, there are a lot of other amazing events going on in our community that I want to take a brief moment to highlight. So mark your calendars for the week and weekend of April 3rd through 8th, because there's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be 3 major events to be exact: World Wrestling, Mission Creek Festival, and the City of Literature 10th Anniversary Celebration. There's going to be a lot of international folks roaming around, so let's show them a good time. Then at the end of April, the first ever Crandic Marathon, for whoever has the desire to run from Cedar Rapids to Iowa City, will be going on. In June, we got the Iowa City Downtown District throwing their 2nd annual block party. And then in July, RAGBRAI is coming through Iowa City for the first time since 1976. Yes. And then come fall, we have Fry Fest and Cyclocross World Cup. And then after that, we hibernate. All of these things would not be happening if it wasn't for some incredible organizations who are focused on making this the best community on the planet. I'd like to ask the staff and boards of my fellow community and economic development organizations to please stand. Iowa City Area Development Group, Iowa City Coralville Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, all staff and teams and boards of these organizations, please stand. Iowa City Downtown District, Cedar Rapids Metro Economic Alliance, and Cedar Rapids Iowa City Corridor Development. We are going to have such an amazing year, and I look forward to continuing to collaborate with all of you. Okay, it is now my privilege to introduce our guest speakers. When we came up with the theme of designing our future, we had a tough time deciding which emerging technology to highlight, so we decided to go with multiple. Autonomous vehicles, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, blockchain, Bitcoin. We believe that these technologies are going to disrupt and define our future, so we better be ready for them. So we invited 3 local experts to share what they are working on and give you a glimpse into what the future holds. Here to give us a glimpse into a world with autonomous vehicles is Dr. Daniel McGehee. Dan is the director of the National Advanced Driving Simulator and a professor in the departments of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering, Emergency Medicine, and Public Health at the University of Iowa. Dan is an internationally recognized vehicle safety researcher, having led over 33 million in research for the U.S. Department of Transportation, NIH, and the automotive industry. He developed the first prototype forward collision warning system for General Motors in the early 1990s and conducted one of the first automated vehicle simulation trials in 1994. In 2017, Dan led a University of Iowa team along with the Iowa City Area Development Group in getting the roads around Iowa City and the Cedar Rapids corridor designated as a national proving grounds for automated vehicles. We're very excited about that. So when I first met Dan, he told me that he loves car crashes. I thought he was kidding, but he's not kidding. And so I highly recommend that you never get into a car with him. So please welcome to the stage Dr. Daniel McGehee.
Wow, what a great crowd tonight to see you all. I recognize a lot of faces out there because what I'm going to talk about tonight is really the influence of the community on the success of our research over the last 25 years that I've been at the University of Iowa. I have the great fortune to direct the National Advanced Driving Simulator and get to work with this superb group of faculty, staff, and students that really move the needle. I'll actually get to show you, you guys will be one of the first to see ever one of a big landmark achievement that has really not been seen anywhere in the world. So I'll talk a little bit about the past, the present, and the future of where we are, but just a quick background in the past. The University of Iowa has really been a leader in driving simulation for over 25 years. The Center for Computer-Aided Design, which Professor Kareem Abdel-Malik will be talking next, is the director of, has really been a key to a lot of the advances in driver safety over the years. And I think one of the great things about the University of Iowa is that we're able to educate the students of Iowa and the Midwest around these technologies, not only in medicine, public health, engineering, psychology, computer science, all across the university. Almost every single college is doing driving research out there. So it really started 25 years ago where we did the first automated vehicle simulation here at the university. We've been building on that ever since. So the National Advanced Driving Simulator is an $80 million driving simulator in Oakdale, out in Coralville. And thousands of people in the Iowa City area have participated in many different studies in advanced vehicle technologies and drugs and alcohol. And this is where I have you raise your hand if you participated in the cannabis study last month. Okay. Don't raise your hand. So many people have been participating in the community, so this is really a big part of what we do. The number of technologies, if you bought a car in the last year especially, is phenomenal. The great headline is that we have been studying, or those technologies have come through the University of Iowa over the last 20 years. We kind of work in about a 20-year time horizon. So all of these little widgets on this particular car have been studied here at the university. And this is sort of the plume of what we see, whether it's a computer vision system, radar, laser systems. All of these technologies is what we do here. So we have a number of firsts, and I think one of the really significant areas that's important to highlight is our community, because public policy and technology, especially in automated driving systems, is lagging significantly behind. We approached our city leaders in Coralville, in Iowa City, North Liberty, the Johnson County supervisors about 3 years ago, and immediately they jumped on board, and we created one of the very first proclamations in the United States, essentially saying it's time that we want to attract companies and research to Iowa City. We want to allow this kind of research to go out on our roads. That was really an interesting thing among our colleagues, like at Google and other places around the country. We also, as Kim mentioned, were one of the first in the country in a very highly competitive race to attract a national automated vehicle proving ground. 64 applications around the country, only 10 were selected. We were one of those. I'll talk about that in a minute. Mark Nolte, Tom Banted, Iowa City Area Development, a key player in that. Iowa is one of the first places in the world, London, England, and Iowa City area, the corridor, the only place in the world you can find a public high-definition map that's going on. Our phones are good to about plus or minus 1 meter. Right now, we're good to plus or minus 7 centimeters, so about an inch. And I'll show you what that means in terms of technology. We also formed the first crash working group, where we brought to Iowa City the leaders of Google, Toyota, the Insurance Institute, the National Transportation Safety Board, and other major leaders came to Iowa City to talk about what we do when the first automated vehicle crashes. My Car Does What, the largest public service campaign in the country, 5.5 billion media impressions now in the last 3 years. So there are many firsts that we look for here. And here we have John Lundell, our mayor, John Lundell, who went to Google. Chris Urmson is probably one of the most famous automated driving people in the world. John gets an audience with him. It's like we're scratching our head. We would like to get 5 minutes with Chris Urmson out there. But this really shows the initiative that we have as a community to make this happen. Because like I said, public policy side of this lags behind significantly. Iowa City Area Development was a key partner and leader in forming the automated vehicle proving ground along the 380-80 corridor around this area. We are planning some 1,300 miles of roads, gravel roads, everything around this area to sort of quietly do this advanced research. This was really a partnership that is very rare. There were only, out of those 64 applications, only 3 universities were able to partner with cities and have a good communication dialogue in this area. So thank you, Mark and Tom and others at Iowa City Area Development. On-road vehicles, you're going to see these around town if you haven't seen them already. You may have seen our Tesla. This is a car that's highly instrumented. This car, and I have some colleagues here from the university that deal with risk management. You know, when I show up in the risk management department, they're always scratching their heads of what kind of gizmo Dan wants to put out on the road. We have a Lincoln MKZ, which has been built from the ground up completely, not by Ford or Lincoln. We also have an inflatable car. Now this is a really fun one, where we get to drive our cars into to test out. And then we were the first to get the Volvo XC90. 18 months before it was in production, it was here in Iowa City being tested, being put on the roads with the My Car Does What campaign. And it's also sporting the first state of Iowa issued vanity plate ought to mate. It's a black car, and those of you who remember your chemistry, remember what AU is? So we have a black and gold license plate there. So finally, I only get 10 minutes. Normally, we get to speak for 50 minutes and wave our arms, but thank you very much. You can follow me at Dan Crashman on Twitter. Thank you, Kim. So I just wanted to emphasize that. Or send me an email, and I think we're going to go to Dr. Kareem Abdel-Malik next.
So me and the city administrators were driving around and doing the carpool karaoke segment, probably on that same snowy day that you were driving around autonomously. We had Kelly Hayworth driving our car, and he didn't hit anything, but it'll be good to have autonomous vehicles some days. So thank you, Dan. Okay, so we now have Dr. Kareem Abdel-Malik, who's going to give us a glimpse into the world of artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and robotics. Kareem is the director of the Center for Computer-Aided Design and senior associate to the provost at the University of Iowa. Kareem is internationally recognized in the areas of robotics, virtual reality, and human simulation. He's the creator of Santos, the Virtual Soldier, which is a comprehensive human simulation platform now in use by the U.S. Army and the U.S. Marines. Kareem has led several projects for the military and industry partners, including Ford, GM, and Rockwell Collins, to name a few. He served as a U.S. delegate to NATO, has received several national awards, has published over 200 technical papers and 2 books, and has been featured by the likes of the Discovery Channel and Huffington Post. Oh, and he's founded something like 7 different companies. So when I asked Kareem when he has time to do all this and when he sleeps, he told me that he has robots that sleep for him, or perhaps that do his work. So I could use one of those. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Kareem Abdel-Malik.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Appreciate it. And thank you, Dan, for an amazing presentation. We're incredibly lucky to have Dan at the University of Iowa. Is the voice okay? I hear myself again. Today I want to talk to you about VR, AI, and robotics and what we do at the University of Iowa. I have about a team of 150 people. We have great labs, about 18 of them. You're all invited to come and visit at some point if you can. We'd love to have you. In terms of introductions, let me introduce to you Santos. This is a virtual soldier that we've been working on for 15 years or so. Inside Santos, he has physiology, he has bones and muscles. He's able to do things for you. For the Marines, for example, right now you can see that he has a backpack, a weapon. They load him up and they say, hey, Santos, can you climb up? Now you're a smaller guy, less strength, less fatigue. Can you do it again? And so it's a way they use it to design new equipment without actually having to bring hundreds of people. And remember, the equipment is not designed yet. This is all in the virtual world. This is all in the virtual reality world. As he does this, you're able to check his strength, whether he can do it or not, what's his heart rate, and whether he needs more water. I remember a colonel coming to visit us, and he said, I want you to get the platoon out for 2 hours walk. Tell me, when do I have to sit them down, chew on caffeinated gum? How long do they sit down before you can ask them to do it again? Very tough questions that we've been struggling with for the past 15 years or so, but we've made good progress. I'd like to show you some of this today. Here's another application of Santos within the U.S. Army. And as you probably know, IEDs in general are very, very difficult to deal with. And designing armor for specific IEDs is very difficult because you cannot test with humans. So what a better application of having Santos with full anatomy inside, shrapnel goes through, we're able to understand what sort of, and what level, and what thickness of ceramics or weeded steel or plates that are needed to protect the soldier. Another application down in Disney, one of my favorite, As you probably know, they design rides every year. And typically, they make the ride physically. And then they send a wooden dummy on it. You know, they see how it reacts. Then they say, well, the youngest intern now goes on the ride. Let's test that. But today, they actually use Santos to test these new rides in a virtual system. The rides are not designed yet. They're not physically available. It's all in the virtual world. On the right side, you see also a test. This is down in Quantico, U.S. Marines, and they use Santos to do what we call warfighting scenarios. There are 33 of those, and they're very difficult. They have to bring hundreds of people, and so they use Santos to do those as well. Now, I'd like to tell you where this is going. So the same military folks that fund us also fund other groups. As you can imagine, electronics, hardware, software, machine learning, AI, it all comes together. And so I'd like to show you how it's coming together. This is another group. This is called Atlas. It's a robot by a group out of MIT. And he's able, this is a humanoid. So he has complete autonomy. Not so much intelligence, but much more balance and stability. And he's able to do maneuvers that most people cannot do, such as this. Where it's all going is still in the military scene is Big Dog. Big Dog has made incredible waves. He can carry about 500 pounds, run as fast as a human, much more, take a hit, and on ice, and try to get up from it. He has enough intelligence that he can maneuver his own way. So imagine thousands of those carrying thousands of munition and just going on a mission. He can maneuver over ice, snow, and whatever else. Where also all this is going, I'm trying to put it all together in the 10th slide, and God forbid if I pass the 10 minutes because Kim is just going to be mad. Augmentation, general augmentation, adding parts to the body is a huge topic. That's where AI and robotics are coming together to make it happen. And so what you saw is, this particular one is called an exoskeleton. It is expected that about 50% of our older population will be wearing an exoskeleton under your pants. If you have a problem with a knee, it will help you walk. If you have a problem walking, it will help you walk from scratch, such as the lady shown as well. AI in general has been, at Iowa, we've reported incredible success at, you go to a doctor and they take all these CT scans of you and then they have a consultation to determine what is wrong. And sometimes it's hundreds of CT slices through the body. A machine learning algorithm can now look at that data and determine, it's like 60 doctors consulting for you within 5 seconds. Accurately, much more accurately than a human body, than human can do. Also here at the University of Iowa, we've been working for 3 years now on predicting injury for the Marines. So we've equipped an entire platoon, and they have sensors on them. They go do their thing. Just like your Fitbit that you wear, but these are a little more sophisticated sensors. They measure cortical brain activity. They measure heart rate variability, and you name it. We take all of that data. We process that data through machine learning algorithms. And now we're able to say, hey, private, they call them Grunt X is going to be injured an ACL on day 6. You're going to have them sit down. And that's been proven to work. So expect, as an individual at home, as a consumer, that your Fitbit is doing great, but what's coming is just amazing. Now, finally, a couple slides just about tell you where all of this is going in terms of the big picture. As you probably know, those of you who follow chess, for example, or AI, artificial intelligence in general, in 1997, there was a huge step. The computer won over the chess master of the world, Kasparov. And that was a big event. Somebody programmed the computer, played against the guy, won. Big deal. Next to that, 2016, this is 2 years ago exactly, a game called Go. It's considered the most sophisticated game in the world, period. It's just, if chess is 10%, this is 1,000% because you have to think way, way ahead. This is the world champion. Computer called AlphaGo, now owned by Google, obviously, has won over the champ. That's not the big deal. Here's the big deal. The computer programmers that programmed that AlphaGo could not figure out what happened. So all of a sudden, you program a computer, it produces something. Now it produced something completely different. They did not simply know what had happened. Take that a little further. Here's what Google's saying. This is my last slide. I'm going to try to sell you on it. This is what Google is saying. In 5 years from today, you will be able, as an individual, to say, the University of Iowa, and Google that. Without touching anything, without computer typing, you will be able to Google that. In 20 years from today, Google is saying we, as humans, will become immortal. I'm going to tell you what that means. They're saying there will be a singularity, and they do that singularity. I don't know what they do that for, but singularity means computers will become smarter than humans. So everybody has an iPhone, a system that stores your phone numbers, knows your direction home, knows a lot of your passwords, knows what you like on social media. Now imagine if it's also carrying a little bit of your physiology, a little bit about how you walk, a little bit about a camera that sees around and identifies people, and then slowly it's gathering your personality. So far we can do all of this except for consciousness. They're close. By 2025, what they're saying is that you, as a human, will transfer to a computer. Your grandkids will be able to talk to you. Our bodies will die, but your person, you, will continue to be on a computer. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're going to leave us with that, Kareem? That was fantastic. I did get to visit Kareem in his office at CCAD, and there's just some amazing stuff being done there. So I encourage you all to take him up on his offer and go tour the place. Okay, we have one more guest speaker with us here this evening who's going to give us a glimpse into the future of blockchain and Bitcoin. And so let me tell you here a little bit about Cameron Shorg. So Cameron is also known around town as the Bitcoin guy. He's a student at the University of Iowa who plans to graduate in May with a dual degree in finance and business information systems and a certificate in entrepreneurial management. Cameron was recently named one of 15 people to watch in 2018 by the Des Moines Register. The last 5 years of his life have been devoted to evangelizing and harnessing the disruptive nature of Bitcoin and its underlying technology, blockchain. As a pioneer, he launched an exchange startup at the age of 16, organized grassroots movements at more than 75 universities worldwide, and works with some of the most prominent cryptocurrency companies. Cameron is regularly featured as a subject matter expert at fintech industry events, educational seminars, media coverages, and frequently consults companies and individuals. I admire the ambition of this young man, and he also scares me a little bit. Please welcome to the stage Cameron Shorg.
How's it going there, guys? So I was trying to pull out my phone to vote for the twerking event, and I saw a text message from Mike Finlayson, the coolest banker in Iowa City, and I figured I'd give him a shout out because he told me he'd be upset if I didn't, so I'll start with that. Alrighty, so what the heck is Bitcoin? Just 5 years ago, I was staring at my computer screen asking the exact same question. And it wasn't because I had never heard of Bitcoin. In fact, a few weeks earlier, I actually looked into the technology, but what I discovered was that Bitcoin was really mysterious, and it really put me off to it. But this time, I decided to give it a little bit more of a chance. And I pulled up an article on Google that seemed to cast it in a bit more of a positive light. With every single line that I read, 3 more questions popped into my head. Don't we already have PayPal? What the heck's a blockchain? And banking without banks? Aha, I get it. This is magic internet money. But by the time I got halfway through the article, I realized that what I was discovering was going to change every single thing in our society at a fundamental level. And what would come of this would be the largest paradigm shift the world has ever seen, larger than the internet. The world is about to see a massive upgrade. Okay, so let's break it down. Before we talk about the internet money and how this technology behind it, the blockchain, is going to affect and change the world, let's first start with the fundamental question, well, what's money? It's kind of a funny question because money is at the center of absolutely everything we do. And to imagine a world without money would be completely unrecognizable to us. Money is at the core of every government, every institution, every market, but what exactly is it? And I think the best way to really understand this is to actually figure out what money looks like instead. If we were to rewind 2,000 years ago, we'd see that money used to be bushels of wheat or seashells. Then came centralized issuance of currencies, and money looked like precious metals and coinage. Several hundred years later, we got money that looks like what's in your guys' wallet, hopefully. And half a century after that, we got money that still looks like hopefully what's in your wallet, but instead, it's not backed by anything anymore. And then came the internet, and our money vanished. Now, 90% of our money is actually represented by zeros and ones stored in a database somewhere. There's no physicality to it, and nothing that you can actually hold on to. But the point is that money is not actually value itself, but only a representation of value. Okay, so internet money, Bitcoin. It's a new digital currency that allows us to send money from one individual to another without the need for a middleman, like banks. But don't we already have things like this? PayPal and Venmo or online banking? But we really don't, and the difference is that we're not actually sending money directly between two people. Instead, our money is moving around in closed gardens and private networks owned by banks and by governments. I planned this. I got to look at my notes here real quick. I know. But this is all for good logical reason. And unfortunately, it comes with some downsides of the current systems we have now, like censorship and fees and the need to ask for permission. But like I said, there's a good reason for this. And this is, the reason why is because the value stored in money is much different than the information that we're used to sharing online. Whether that be a cat video or a political rant or music, really, when we're sharing those things online, they're all representations of, or they're all copies. But money presents a much different problem, in the sense that if I have money, it's very important that you don't have that same money. And if I transfer value to you, it's very important that when I transfer value to you, I lose ownership and you gain ownership of that. And until now, we've had a really hard time figuring out how to create an open system like the internet, where we can reliably send money different places from one party to another, but with 100% certainty know that if you have the money, that means that I don't. Enter blockchain. It's quite hard to fathom exactly what will happen when we solve this problem and how much the world will change. But if we look at information before the internet, the world is a much different place. When I wanted to spread information around, I had to go to certain gatekeepers, whether that be a news station or a cable provider or other gatekeepers. And it was very difficult for me to send that information out, and the internet changed all of that. And now I could reliably and cheaply spread information from me to anyone else in the world through the click of a button. And now a 15-year-old girl in Syria can help start a national uprising, or a politically motivated entity can help sway an election. And this is all through ideas, or the power of ideas stored in information. But what does this say for the value stored in money? See, with blockchain, we now have an internet of value, an open protocol where one person can transfer value from one place to another without the need for any middleman. Now, it's quite a technical thing to understand how blockchains work, but Galia Bernazzi, one of the leading women in blockchain, explains this beautifully. Imagine that the blockchain is a magic book, and that book can be downloaded or copied by anyone else, and anyone can get a copy of that book for free. Now, the reason why it's magical is because if I were to write a line in that book, it would immediately appear in every single other copy of the book. And instead of it being a line of text, instead imagine it being a transaction and the information attached to that transaction. And what's even more magical about this book is the fact that if a transaction is not supposed to take place, let's say due to insufficient funds or due to me having the wrong password, the book actually rejects it. And this is quite amazing, really, when you start to think about this magic book and how it all works. And when we have a system, or this is very similar to how the blockchain works. But when you have this magic book and everyone has a copy of it, some amazing things start to happen. And every few minutes, all these books come together, and they make sure that everyone's on the same page, that everyone's in sync. And every few minutes, a new page is created, and the last page is sealed forever. And the blockchain works much in the same way, in the sense that once the page is created, it can never be deleted, and the whole copy of the book can never be wiped off the face of the earth unless every single copy of that book is also wiped off the face of the earth. And with blockchains, the power really is that we can have a system, this magic book, where I can transfer value from one person to another person without the need for any middleman. And it does this by stringing a group of computers together into a network and allowing those computers to collectively, on a consensus basis, secure and maintain the network. And this allows the users to not trust in magic, but to trust in a transparent algorithm that's reliable and that we know we can send value from one party to the other party without having any middleman. So this is a little abstract, but imagine a world where we can have services like Uber without the need for the company Uber, or Facebook without the company Facebook, or things like a decentralized energy grid, or insurance companies or hedge funds, all without the companies behind those. Instead, those services, those platforms, those software is run by a collective group and on a decentralized nature. Everyone participates and everybody contributes and maintains and secures that network instead. And the point here is that blockchain technology is going to be as disruptive as the internet was, and it will touch absolutely every single industry. And Bitcoin is only the first application of this technology, and it is absolutely taking the financial world by storm. Children born today will not know a world in which bank accounts exist. In the same vein that kids of my generation don't know a world without the internet. And if you're thinking that this is just a really great investment opportunity, you'd be right, but you're missing the point. The point is that we are really lucky because we have access to modern financial tools. And those financial tools reward us amazing things like healthcare and education and prospects for growth. But most of the world doesn't have access to any of this. In fact, 2.5 billion people have zero access to financial services. And the other large chunk have extremely limited access. Bitcoin and blockchain technologies are for the other 6 billion people. You have Visa. Good for you. You are part of the privileged 5%. You have access to a stable currency. Congratulations. I can count 15 of them. What about the other 160 currencies? You have a government that won't rip you from your bed in the middle of the night because you attended the wrong protest or you said the wrong thing. Unfortunately, this is a daily reality for many people around the world. We exist in a world where access to financial services are one of the main fundamental barriers to economic development, and we have created a system that is only available to the few, it's exclusive, and it's private. And if you work in the banking industry, you're familiar with acronyms like KYC and AML, or anti-money laundering and know your customer policies. And these specific policies convict 4 billion people in the world to poverty under the bourgeoisie illusion that somehow, if we restrict people's access to financial tools, we can somehow prevent crime or prevent the spread of crime. Bitcoin is a radical proposition that everyone should have access to free financial services and free commerce. And that is an amazing idea, but it is an extremely scary idea to many governments and organizations, including banks. Unfortunately for them, they have no say in this. This is done. The technology is out, and anybody, anywhere, can go online and in a matter of a few hours launch a fully operational and fully global digital currency and spread that to the world. The technology's out of the bag, decentralized currencies are here to stay, and we are banking the other 6 billion people, and with that, the world is forever changed. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Cameron. This is our future. So I'm happy to announce that Cameron is going to be joining the Chamber of Commerce, and yes, he's going to pay us in Bitcoin. We are currently waiting for our BitPay account to get approved, and we believe this is perhaps going to make us the first Chamber of Commerce to accept payment in Bitcoin. So we're researching that. We're really excited about that, and so it'll be a big learning lesson. So I want to thank all 3 of our guest speakers for being with us this evening and sharing your insights into the future. I'm just amazed. These things are going on, in our own backyard here. So I encourage everyone, again, to get to know all 3 of our speakers. And I'm super grateful you're part of this community, and I'm hoping that you're going to be helping us through all this change, right? So to learn more about these technologies, because yes, I only gave these guys 10 minutes to talk, you'll be able to see each of our guest speakers at a Future Fridays session. So these sessions are starting in March, and they're going to occur the 4th Friday of every month. This is a new program that's being co-organized by the Chamber and ICAD to inform you of emerging technologies and trends. And Cameron will be our first speaker of Future Fridays, kicking it off on March 23rd. So please join us at Merge. So, in closing, I want to again thank our premier sponsor, Procter & Gamble, and all of our other sponsors this evening. I want to invite you all to join us at the Chamber Annual Banquet After Party at Vestas, where you can learn more about the Chamber's 2018 goals, how we managed to get a DeLorean, and what we're going to do with our Bitcoin. Thank you all so very much for coming tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening.